Welcome ladies and gentlemen, Ice Blade here with another YouTube video. Today we're talking about home brewing or craft brewing. So the question has come up, what is the basics of home brewing? What do I need? What is the bare basics? So that is actually a very easy question. The basics of home brewing is you need water, you need yeast, and you need sugars to feed those yeast so that it can turn it into alcohol for you. So that is the bare basics. Now what do you need to make that process happen? Now you need a vessel. It can be anything. I mean, I use food grade plastic buckets. So saying that, it needs to be food grade. You can't just use any vessel and dump your beer in there and then you get infections and it's wasted. So the basics would be water, yeast and sugars for the yeast to eat, and then a place to do that in. So I have different ones. This is a stainless steel. It's seamless in the inside, so there's no place that bacteria can actually settle in and make a home for them and destroy my next batch. Glass, the Carboys. This is a 1 gallon or 5 liter. It's brilliant for small batches. And then I also have like a 2 liter one where I do experiments in, like on juices or ciders. And if it's successful in here, then I'll go to 25 liters with it. So basics, you'd need that: water, sugar, and your yeast, and you need a vessel and then some form of airlock. Like you can see here, this is a bought airlock, but this is the cheapest you can go buying one. You get different ones as well. I have about all of them, and then you can actually make one. It's really not that difficult. People have done it out of spice bottles, out of medicine bottles. The principle is just a piece of pipe like this, and this side should go into the lid or the bung or the cap of that vessel, and then the other piece goes into a place where there's liquid, like normally sanitizer. Some people use vodka. I tend to not waste vodka that way. I'd rather drink it, but sanitizer or even water, so that it creates bubbles that you can see your fermentation is still going. There's new silicone bungs that is basically unlimited usage. You don't have to fill it with everything. It doesn't allow air to get in, but it allows the CO2 to escape. Brilliant. I've even seen one of my friends just twist the pipe like this, cut it off there, put it in the bung, take a cable tie it onto there and put liquid in there. So the CO2 will still push around the circle, go through the liquid, make a bubble and go out. So it's not necessary always to buy expensive things or create expensive things. Brewing should be simple. It's a simple process. You just need to be in a clean environment and sterilize. So if I had to buy something starting home brewing now, vessel would be obvious, then airlock, or if you use these buckets, you'll need some form of grommet. They're very cheap, or I've seen people using aquarium silicone. So it's always, there's a way that you can pay a lot, or you can create it yourself. Same end result. So don't overspend when you start out in this hobby. One of my friends always say, in brewing there's something that you really need, and then there's something you want. So this vessel is what you need. This more expensive stainless steel one is what I wanted. It's not what you need. So there's still fermentation chambers and temperature control units. Those are not things that you need. Those are things that I wanted to make my brewing experience easier. So basics: water, sugars, yeast, fermentation vessel, and some form of airlock. The airlock is not just to show you that the fermentation is active, it's to prevent bad stuff going in your brew and the CO2 to escape, so you don't create a bomb in your house. That for me is the basics. So I would get a fermentation vessel and sterilizer. No rinse, sterilizer just makes your life so much easier, because every process in brewing from the start, pre-start, the start, the fermentation, the racking, bottling, everything needs sanitizer. So a vessel, airlock, if you want to buy one, they're very cheap. I would recommend that, or make one, like I said, sanitizer, and then your ingredients, and you brewing your first beer. It's not that complicated. People tend to overcomplicate things, and it's confusing. People that want to get into this hobby, it's a great hobby. You need patience though. I've seen people putting brews in and checking on it every day, and there's no bubble. It's finished. It's 3 days. It's finished. It's not finished. There's things that can happen, like stuck fermentation, or the yeast just got off to a blast of a start, and now they're very slow, like a bubble. Slowly, if you sit there for hours, you'll see one bubble, but it's still fermenting. So my teacher in this hobby told me, you don't touch your beer before 10 days. Leave it. If it's not fermenting after the third, or it was a blast of fermentation, if it doesn't start fermenting, that is a different thing now. But if your beer started fermenting and there was bubbles or a blow off, and it was vicious, and then it slows down, that is natural. Leave it. It will continue slowly on its own. It's a strain of yeast that just you got that strain of yeast. It's fast and active, and it does what it wants, and then it relaxes, but it's still doing some work in there. With the Carboys, that's glass, that is the brilliant aspect of that. Even though that bubbler, you don't see it bubbling, you'll see yeast going up and dissipating, and there would be some form of bubbles on the surface. It's nice to see. You actually see the process happening. So don't, if your fermentation started, don't interfere, get impatient and prod things in there, or opening up, introducing oxygen in there. Just leave it for 10 days. See what happens. After 10 days, if something did go wrong, you have a stuck fermentation, you can then start fixing it, but then your beer is not contaminated, and it's going to turn out a great beer. I can guarantee you that. The beers I left, even this one, at day 3, it stopped. It was like a bubble. I missed most of it, but I mean, it was like for me, I thought it was like a bubble a day. But I could still see in the Carboy that things were happening. There was yeast moving. They were doing it. And it started to clear out. I just left it. I didn't touch it. After 10 days, I started with the gravity reading. And that's another thing that you could use as a hydrometer. It's not a need, but it sort of is. This is a hydrometer. It tests your gravity of your wort or your beer when it's done. And you start off, when you finish your wort, you test your starting gravity. And then when it's completely finished, then you test your final gravity. And then you can also calculate your ABV, which is your alcohol content. And that I use actually if I'm worried about a beer, but I have turned into a patient person due to home brewing. So I leave it 10 days. I don't touch it. 10 days. That is what I've been taught. That is what I've been programmed. 10 days, leave it. And then after that, if it's not doing anything, I'd start doing the gravity readings every day at the same time. So I get the same temperature and get the same reading. If you get the same reading 3 days in a row, your fermentation is done or stuck, depending on your gravity reading. If it's low enough, something below like 1,009, I would say if it's not doing anything 3 days, then you can start doing either racking it to a secondary to let it clear out nicely, or you can bottle. So the hydrometer helps in that. It's not a need, but it's very, very helpful want. So it's in between there. I would like push it towards a need. So basic. Don't complicate it for yourself. Get sanitizer. Get a no-rinse sanitizer, because if you get a sanitizer that you have to rinse afterwards, it creates more work, if we can put it like that. And then you don't want to work too much, you know. You want to enjoy the craft. So get a sanitizer that actually helps you sanitize your stuff and also makes it easier for you to do that. So vessel, airlock, sanitizer, and ingredients, and you're brewing. So I don't want to make this video too long. I'll go into other stuff maybe in additional videos, but I just wanted to get the basics out there. Some people ask, what do I need? And then you get this influx of replies that it's, whoa, I don't even have that stuff. Do you really need it? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Then I'm brewing wrong. It's not like that. Don't confuse new brewers. Try to assist them. It's easy. Vessel, ingredients, sanitizer, and you go. Bottles also, I would say, is important. I mean, these ones, you don't want screw-ons, then you can cap them. If you don't have money to spend on like a bottle capper and caps, get the plastic food grade ones with a tight screw-on lid. I've even seen people using old 500ml, because that's now food grade plastic bottles to bottle it in. If you're a drinker, these are brilliant. You don't have to cap them. This is awesome. If you can get these, get these. These are great. Just put it on there. It has a seal there, and when it's on, it has a lever. It pushes back, and your beer is sealed, and it's in a glass bottle. It's cool because this is a beer bottle. So very cheap way of doing it. If you can get these, get them. Plastic bottles, like I said, I've seen people in soda bottles, because that thing is already made for pressure. It's already food grade. It has a tight sealing lid. You can put your beers in there. So you don't have to go this route. This is where craft brewers end up always. You'll get glass bottles and caps. You get them in different colors. It looks fancy. You have a capper. It's the way to go, but you don't have to start that way. That's what I'm saying. There's a need. You need a bottle to put your beer in, and there's a want. You see, all of the things in brewing always goes that way. Just think, is it really a need or is it a want? And then there's always a way. If you start out, this is the advice normally I give people. Join like a brewing club if there's one in your area. If there's not, go to a brew shop. Some people say, yes, but it's expensive, and they're trying to make money off you. If you step into a brew shop and you're a complete beginner and you tell them, I would like to try home brewing. I have no equipment. I'm trying home brewing. What do I need? I can guarantee you there's no brew shop that is going to try to rip you off or sell things you don't need. They'll give you the basics. They'll give you the basics and get you on your way, because that guy wants you to come back and buy new things and new wants, actually, that I want that thing. Or ingredients. You always get your ingredients at the brew shop. So if he assists you nicely to make the hobby or the entry into this hobby easy for you, and you enjoy it, you will come back and buy, and then they can rip you off if they want to. I don't think they would, but I mean, as a new brewer going into a shop, telling them that I'm completely new, I've no equipment, I want to try this out, they're not going to screw you over. They're going to assist you because they want you to be a comeback, you know? Come back and buy more things. Come back and get something you want. You understand? So go to a brew shop. Don't be scared. Don't think that they're going to try and get money out of you. They're going to try to get you hooked on home brewing so that you can come back and they can make sales off you then. So initially go there. It's a great place. If you don't have a brew shop, you can email an online brew shop. They'll always assist you. And if you have a brewing club in your area, join them. They're going to assist you. There's people, when I joined the brew club, that actually gave me things like, I don't need this, or I don't use this anymore, or I have 3 or 4 of these here, or I need a bit of yeast here, take this. So brewing clubs will assist you, because one day, if you make a great beer, they're going to share in it and drink your beer. So brewing clubs won't screw you, brew shop won't screw you. Get a friend that brews. It's nice to brew with people. They tend to drink your beer also, so be careful. But it's a nice hobby to be in. The thing about this is we went into the Corona thing and the lockdown, and lots of people got into this, but due to the need of alcohol. Now, home brewing, when I started a long time ago, it was not about that. We do home brewing because it's a craft. We have pride in what we do, and you try to make a great beer. You don't try to get cheap alcohol at your house, or always have free booze around. It's not like that. You're trying to create something better than what you tasted, or you're trying to replicate a recipe or a clone of a recipe. If you had a great beer, it's a social thing, and you can give your family or a friend as gifts, or it's Christmas gifts. Make a nice wooden holder for a 6-pack and put 6 of your craft beers in there. You design labels. I had labels design. It's easy to put them on the bottles. Most people say it's a hassle to take off. Not if you do it right. But that's things. You get creative. You experiment with recipes. You change recipes. You change temperature just by in the fermenting will give you a different taste at the end. There's so many aspects of this. It's not about getting cheap liquor. It's not about getting drunk. It's not having a booze that has a huge kick or something. As a brewer, if you're into brewing, you know how to boost your alcohol content. It's not that hard. But sometimes a specific style of beer would ask for that. A higher alcohol content will actually complement that beer. Some beers, not so much. So if you get a beer from a guy and it's like 4% or 3.8 or 3.5, and it's like, okay, this guy brew a light. No, that was exactly what he wanted. If it's off a recipe, or it's a home brewer that's been doing this for a while now, that was for a purpose. That lesser alcohol content is actually what that recipe calls for, and would actually make that beer taste the way it does and complement it. So if you get like heavy stouts, like imperial stouts, and it's a high ABV, it's not that guy wanted to make something that's going to kick you on the butt. No, it's that beer specifically needs that higher alcohol content to actually improve the taste and make that beer great. So no, if you're getting into home brewing, do it for yourself. Do it. You need to have patience, because if you look at it, if you ferment correctly, you could do it for like 2 weeks. Maybe go over to a bit more, and then for me, I rack to a secondary so that it can settle out more for another week or 2. So now we're talking about a month already. You're just looking at the liquid. You're not allowed to drink it because it's not carbonated yet. And then comes carbonation. You have to put it in a bottle, put in sugars or whatever, and a cap, and then leave it. Now you have a beer in a bottle that you can't drink. So you have to wait. And then you drink it as soon as it's carbonated, and then but it's not that good. Why? Because it needs to age still. So although it's carbonated, now the longer you leave it, the better the beer is going to be. It's really like that. It's like a wine thing. I thought the guys were like joking with me. Leave it, it will age. You just give it a month or so. So one guy told me, just forget about your beer or give it to someone so that they hide it for you for like 2 extra weeks or a month even. If you can give it a month, I guarantee your beer is going to be great. And I thought the guy's crazy. Like, this stuff is ready. It's carbonated. We can drink it. It's not going to change. I'm not adding anything to the bottle. It's already sealed. Nothing's going to change. Nothing is added. But it does. It does age like a wine or something. It's really amazing. If you just have patience, you're going to end up with a great beer. And I have learned now, don't touch my beer for 10 days. Then start checking up. If it's still busy, leave it. I read in a brewing book somewhere, I can't recall who it was, but he said, listen to your brew, listen to your beer. It will tell you when it's ready. Look at it, listen to it. Don't try to force things. If you think it's ready, leave it another day. If your gravity is the same for 3 days, bit of heat change, maybe colder, hotter, see if something doesn't kick up again. Patience, great beer. Patience equals great beer. Okay guys, quick change. Had this hair net because I'm going into some yeast washing in quickly, but I forgot something important to mention. So pro tip, read or watch YouTube or go to forums, ask people. But on read, there's a great book out by John Palmer. Now, it's already in its 4th revision, but the first one, I think, was in 1995, is hosted on the internet, and I'll share a link to that. That is the book that I read before I start, or I was told to. You don't touch nothing beer related till you finish this book, and I'm really glad I did. That book is like a brewing Bible of sorts, and it really covers everything. If you're finished with that book, you basically have some knowledge about what you're going to do, and, well, you don't have to ask other people actually on forums or stuff, because you will have some knowledge. Book knowledge, though, you need to still apply that practical and get the practical knowledge, but that book is awesome. So there's a 2nd revision out, I think. John published it himself in 2000, and then the 3rd one was like in 2006, and the 4th one is out now. So the 4th one, if you really enjoyed the first one or the link that I post, if you can go through that one, the 4th one has all new revisions in it. It's new stuff. So if you have the cash, rather go for the 4th edition. You have to buy that one. But it is more recent. It is everything to do with today's brewing, new technology that was added. And so it's up to date, basically. But the 1st edition, the link that I would share, it covers brewing, the stuff that you need to know before you brew or while you brew, or if you have issues, there's troubleshooter in there. It's great read. Go out, read it, guys. It will really, really assist you in your brewing from day one till the end of it. If you're even a brewer and you haven't read that book, read it. It's amazing. It will assist you so much. It covers every topic that you can think of in brewing. Water, I mean, things that we take for granted, it's there. It's great read. Read it, guys. It will really assist you. Anything else you need to know, please put it down in the comments. If there's any other subject for beginners you want to know, please leave it in the comments. If there's something you need me to address later on, leave it in the comments and I know what you want and I can make a video. If you haven't yet, please guys, subscribe, hit that like. You can even ring that bell like a crazy person, and then I can stalk you and inform you whenever I got a new content going out. So please guys, assist us so that we can also put out more videos and get our videos actually seen. So thank you for watching. Anything you need, put it down in the comments below. And like always, if I can't answer you, I've got a lot of brewmasters that can assist you. So get them down in the comments below and let's get chatting. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you.